It's Abe's world, and we are just living in it. Life is short, you gotta live it to the limit. When the prophet filming you, better be still. You are now listening to no free refills. 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to No Refills. This is episode 3. Today we're going to be talking about theater and I'm with my friend Noah Demmit.
Hello.
Before we get started, just tell them how you got started in theater.
Oh, jeez. So I started theater when I was 6. It was a local community theater group in Dayton, Ohio, the Vandalia Youth Theater. That's where I started theater. And I did shows with them for a few years. And then we moved to North Carolina around 2014. And then I did, I think, 2 shows, and I took a break during high school to focus on academics. And then recently I've gotten back into doing productions with community theater at Greensboro, and then also with Creative Greensboro as well.
CTG, what's CTG like? I've never done theater. I've heard good things about them now.
Community Theater at Greensboro is a really great theater organization. I've done they do a show every single year called The Wizard of Oz. But they do that show every single year, and it's probably one of the biggest shows that they produce. And it's a fabulous time. I was also there with them for a summer program for Beauty and the Beast. And I was also part of the Into the Woods cast from 2020, from last year actually. But they're a really good organization. I love getting to work with them and the shows that they produce. So
that's amazing, man. You have a good background. So let's jump through the questions I have for you, man.
Alrighty.
What's memorable memory you have in theater?
Well, I would say a memorable moment that I had was actually recently this past year. We did the Music Man with Creative Greensboro. That was one of my favorite experiences with theater so far, because the first message that we got when we got into rehearsal was mainly just this is a very collaborative space, so we're all going to be having this very collaborative effort. So it kind of dispelled that sometimes that power structure that comes through with theater when it comes to the director over the actors. They felt like there wasn't that structure for it, and it was one of the first productions I've done to where there wasn't that structure to it, which I appreciated a lot because it felt like we were able to produce a lot more creativity in a sense with the show and how we wanted to do certain things. But then on top of that was actually one of the first shows I have ever been for a production, for the entire production. So that theater experience I will always hold dear to me.
That's amazing, man. I love theater, and I have so many great memories in theater, especially at City Art. So I've been here since I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
I've done so many good shows with them.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, man, it seems like we've come really far, man. You have great personality, man. I believe you're gonna go far.
I hope so. I'm crossing my fingers.
So here's something the question I have for you. Has theater evolved over the years since you were a kid? Do you think, personally, I think theater has become more of a social club more than an actual a good theater where they want to perform good theater with good actors. Have you ever experienced that where theaters only hire people they know and not talent?
I would say I think when I was a kid, because I think theater has always just been a joyous art form for people to just experience the craft and how how they themselves want to how they want to produce it. And while I feel like there are I don't think it's always often that you see directors casting people that they know. I do believe that when they cast people for certain roles and stuff, I do believe that they cast it just based on talent.
I guess
But,
everyone's experience is different.
Yes, but I think there are.
Because you say you come from different towns.
So yeah, I will say I will never discount if somebody casts somebody based on if they know them or not. I won't discount that, because does that happen? Probably. Sadly, I'm not in those casting rooms yet. But I always take the viewpoint that somebody that gets casted for a production, they have the talent, they have the ability, and like the role that they get casted for, it fits them, and they will be able to produce that role, very well. That's always how I view it whenever it comes to casting. It's just like they base it off of talent, and
And thanks for your viewpoint, man. I appreciate that, your honesty.
Of course.
So, what's the most important element in creating a successful theater performance?
I would say, it's a tie. First, I think first the greatest way we can produce great work is working very hard. Like, learning your lines, getting off book as quickly as possible. And to some people, each, track is different. But I think that's one of the great ways, because I think doing the work, doing that creative work, getting off book for things and stuff, I think that's what helps to kind of free yourself to move in that style of creativity. But then I also do believe that I think what also helps us to create great work is to just allow ourselves emotionally and physically to feel and move in the space, because I feel like that helps so much in just creating the overall storyline that is set out for a particular production, or even just for any show that you see. Just giving yourself the ability to move freely, to speak freely, to access the emotions freely is just what helps create those fantastic productions.
That's amazing, man. I wish I would have had a director like you growing up. Because my experience was unfortunately different. Like, I've experienced where directors only hire people who are like, I know this guy, so I'm going to hire him. I'm not going to hire any people. But you, man, you have such a great head on your shoulders, man. I love your chemistry. I love your energy. You're really talented, man.
I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, you're awesome. You're going to go for it. I can tell.
It sucks sometimes when people get into those spaces when it doesn't feel like it's a joyous art form. It feels combative to a certain degree. And I hate when people tell me that they've been in theater, but they have had they've had combative people in theater, because it's like, that's not the theater at all that I grew up with, and that's still around today, and it sucks. But I mean, I understand when people have those difficult experiences, and then it kind of flip-flops. But I always say is that, everybody has a spot in theater. I don't believe anybody is, destined to be out of theater. I feel like there's always a spot for people when it comes to being in theatrical productions. And like, even if you've had like one bad experience or multiple bad experiences, my message would be to just not let that discourage you from moving forward, if that makes sense.
That's amazing, man. You're a great guy. So, what's one of your favorite musicals? What's a musical or a play that's really impacted you, inspiring?
I'm gonna have a list. No.
It's fine.
So I have a lot of musicals because but most recently I've fallen in love with like Wicked. I think I've loved Moulin Rouge, and then also Some Like It Hot. Those have been some musicals that have really kind of stuck to me. Especially with the Wicked movie. That's
Wicked movie's good.
Yeah, that came out last year. We got part 2 coming up in November. I can't wait. But those musicals I think really stuck out. I think not only just for maybe like the set design, how they do, you know, the things. I also think it's just because of the messaging that's behind the shows, and it's just those are my particular favorites.
That's amazing. It's one of my favorite musicals. It has to be either like Bad Boy musical or Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh,
I like
okay.
it's the songs in there are just so beautiful and inspire me. I get goosebumps every time I listen to that soundtrack.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah. How do you approach character development? How do you bring your character to life?
Well, first thing I mainly do is before I really start doing character development, my goal is to try to get off book as quickly as possible, because I want to be able to say, okay, I know the lines now, I can start to really kind of work into the character as much as I can. But I think what I mostly try to do when I do characterization is I try to put the circumstances of the character, what they're going through, who they are, and I try to kind of see if there's some like cross paths between, you know, myself and my lived experiences as well. And I think after that, then I kind of just start molding and shaping and going with the. Most of it is also just kind of like, sometimes it is kind of going with the flow of things, and then kind of like correcting myself a bit if I feel like, okay, maybe this is kind of feeling a little bit weird. Let me try this the next time and see if that sticks. That kind of pathway is what I think I usually try to accomplish when I go through characterization.
That's amazing. So, where do you see yourself in like 5 to 10 years in theater? Do you want to be on Broadway, or what's your dream in theater?
I would like to think of myself as like diverse, because what my hope would be is that like hopefully I can be on like the Broadway stage, but like
I can see that.
But also just being like okay, maybe film or TV, maybe also probably releasing like music if I can learn those skills to do it. But I definitely would like to see myself in the next 5, maybe 10 years to being able to be on the big stages, if not Broadway, being off Broadway, if not, you know, like on the stage just yet, maybe finding some TV or film opportunities and stuff like that is hopefully what I would like to accomplish.
Okay. So I have a controversial question for you. I hope that's okay.
Okay.
So I've noticed like theater over the years it's become really political. Do you think politics belong in theater, or do you think you should separate the two?
Well, for me, I think theater has always been about politics. I think if we go back into the history of theater itself, I think that theater has always tried to spread, like it's been a way for people to kind of to respond to things that are happening in the time frame in which they're living in, and that's art as well. I think we can always kind of I think we can always I think it's always been about politics.
Okay.
It's always been about the circumstances of what's going on during that time frame that, you know, a musical may get produced or a play. And I mean, it's always just art. Whether it's like inherently political or not, it's always just that expression of art as well. So.
Well, yeah, man. Like I said, you definitely have to compare your shoulders, man. And I would love to. I can't wait to see how far you go, man.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my last thing before we wrap up, do you have any like encouragement for like future actors? Any advice you can give them?
Yeah, I would definitely say, it's cliche, everybody says this, but be yourself. That's all you can do. Just be yourself in your career, because at the end of the day, what everybody wants to see you is you as your most authentic, your just as yourself. I think that's the biggest advice I could give, but also just go to spaces and audition in spaces where you feel like you belong and where you feel welcomed with open arms, because there are going to be spaces to where you audition and you don't feel 100% like welcomed or safe to do so. I would definitely say make sure that you go to a place to where you feel absolutely loved and respected and a part of that team, and where you're able to thrive and to shine, because I think that's also going to help as well.